Alright, I'm just showing what it looks like to take apart one of these AC servos. You have the, this is the bottom right here, and this comes off. You have a little spring there, and the spring goes on this rubber sealing valve that goes down around that shaft right there. See, there's a little shaft right there, and that little shaft opens and closes, and it just pushes this. There you go. See this valve? It seals, opens and closes there. And when these things leak from this one's already had the Murphy replaced, George Murphy, I think his first name, yeah, George Murphy replaced with the housing, the aluminum housing, but I just need to change the gasket. So here's 2 replacement gasket, 4 screws, and the rubber valve. But to change it, you have to cut the existing rubber valve off, and that allows you to remove this piece. And you can see, yep, there it is. There's a gasket on the bottom too. So I'm going to replace that gasket also. That one's on there pretty good. Here we go. So I'll replace that gasket and this gasket here. And he uses Durco gray sealant. You can see where, here's some of it right here. To hold this gasket on. And so I'm going to be using the same sealant. Don't lose that spring there. So I'm going to just clean this up a little bit and put the new gaskets on. Here's one gasket here. This is the one that goes right there. And you don't use sealant on the bottom. Just, well, this is upside down, so this is considered the top and that's considered the bottom. But you don't use sealant on the top gasket, just the bottom gasket. And then the screws, here's the original screws. You can see they have these little washers. And these are just all rusted, but those washers, they seal up against the body. So anyway, I'm going to clean that up, replace the gaskets, and then it won't leak from the bottom anymore. So I basically just put it upside down in the vise and slid the top section, or the top section and then the bottom section over it. And from the factory, there's RTV around the bolt heads. Let me turn on this light. So once I put it on there, squish some RTV around the bolt heads. And there's a glob right there like that. That's how it looked from the factory. So I just put it back to how it looked from the factory. Anyway, this is all back together with the new seals on there. Here's the seal that came off, along with some of the bolts, and there's the bottom seal, and I just sealed it up with RTV black. So anyway, that shouldn't leak from the bottom anymore.